that there were many people for whom the charge might be made. They didn't commit the crimes, but they turned a blind eye and thus are culpable themselves. Do you think this is, I guess the question is, our unbelievable ignorance of history or distortionist, revisionist history, when we do teach it, has allowed a vacuum to be created in the West today in understanding the issues and the need for a homeland for the Jewish people?
So I have a number of comments. First, I wrote a column. I've been writing a weekly column. They're all on the internet for 20 years. So there are 1,000 of my columns up there. And a few months ago, I wrote a column about the ignorance of evil among young Americans. And I suspect it's just as true in almost any Western society. They don't know what Auschwitz is. They don't know what Gulag is. They don't know who Pol Pot was. They don't know what Mao did. They don't know evil. So they're spectacularly naive. And naive is worse than ignorant, because naive means you're incapable, at least during your period of naivete, of grasping evil. They just don't know. So evil in America today, it's evil if you engage in a microaggression. It's evil if you think that men who say they're women should not compete in women's sports. Then you are transphobic, and that's evil. But Auschwitz and Gulag and Mao and Pol Pot, they're who are they? What are they? They wouldn't know. I do suspect that if I went to any prestigious university in the United States and just asked 100 students, what is the Gulag Archipelago? I don't believe more than 10%. And I may be wrong that it's even 10% would know what that is. Who was Stalin? I don't even know how many would have an answer. So that's answer number one to your point about the ignorance of real evil. As regards having all young people study or at least visit a museum of the Holocaust, I think it would be very valuable, but I'm not sure it would have much of an impact with regard to what is happening now, because what they would say is, well, that was a terrible thing, of course, but why should the Arabs have paid the price of European anti-Semitism and have Israel established in their land, or what they would call their land? Of course, it wasn't anybody's land. The only independent states to ever exist on those in the area called geographically by the name Palestine have been Jewish countries. The first Jewish republic, the second, which was destroyed in, 79 AD or 73 AD? In any event, this is the third independent state to ever exist in that area, and all three have been Jewish states. But nobody knows that either. So as important as what your friend recommended, I think you said it was a friend, as important as that recommendation is, I don't think it would have a big impact upon the leftist narrative that you don't divide the world between good and evil, but between rich and poor, white and non-white, colonizer and colonized. And by the way, on the white, non-white, the joke is that most Israelis are not white. But, who wants to bother?
Yeah.
Who wants to bother with facts?